this is probably working. OBS didn't have any weird updates or any of that. I've got this little bugger here. Oh, can you even see her? This little shadow in my hand. Hey, little brat. Say hi to everybody. This is when she's being all cuddly and not just, you know, screaming for attention randomly when she knows I'm talking to other people. So, she's been very cuddly in her old age. So, yes. How are you guys doing? How is your Wednesday, the 5th, Revenge of the 5th, which I got corrected today, which turned out to be wrong, because I was like, oh yeah, it's Revenge of the 5th today, and someone was like, it's Revenge of the 6th, and I was like, oh, that does sound like that makes more sense. And then I was looking it up online, I'm like, well, what's the day in between then? I felt like there'd be like a running, you know, a trilogy or something, if that was the case with the 3-day thing. And I was like, no, it's Revenge of the 5th. I was like, yeah. So, what do I know? Anywho, say hi to everybody in the chat. Hey, Jay Alex, I saw that you had joined in earlier. Hope your presentation goes amazing. So, thanks for popping in there, but hang in there. Good to see you. War Budgies, hey man, good to see ya. Good to see you as well, Mac Attack and Mr. Pilak. Appreciate y'all being here. Hey, Patty, good to see you too, man. And Thomas and Samuel. Ah, I love all you people. All right, fight for Taha and Austin and hey, Travis. Let's see here, and then of course Daryl Paul, my wonderful moderator, who's good people. Revenge of the 5th is Cinco de Mayo. Okay, fair. I know, especially since I live in New Mexico, right? It's most certainly Cinco de Mayo, which is really just May 5th, again. But I didn't get to celebrate it as Cinco de Mayo today, so it's Revenge of the 5th, I guess. Painting my Reeves of Ouroboros for Wits on the 15th. Oh, nice. Oh, good times. Good to see you too, Alfonso. Thanks for being in here. Thank you, Siobhan. We all definitely need, of course, the reminder. So, I hadn't gotten a whole lot done. It's been interesting to count my life in 2-week intervals to try and get, like, progress done for the channel and just to fail. Because I'm still working on my dear old brew lady. So, let me pull her back up here. And it'll be fun because I had to mix the paint for her skin color. And now I get to see if I can rematch it, if I need to do anything. But I am excited to, like, start working on the rest of her. So, I think that'll be nice. Alright, Mason, I have, you know, I should be painting now. So, she's just been so cuddly. Alright. So, yes, thank you, Mason. Of course, she doesn't want to leave because she knows I need to do something. Cat has an unhealthy attraction toward interrupting progress. Oh, don't worry about it, MacTech. That's fine. There's certainly no rush. Painting up protectorate flamethrowers, cleansers, painting more samurai. Blue people. Trollkin are a delightful model line. Wow, Siobhan. Troll Keg Lady. Brew Bear! That's her official title anyway. Share this so that, there we go. So there you go. The Brew Bear. Ta-da! Mini crate number 20, no, mini crate. Oh yeah, it is number 25. Man, they've gotten, like, there's been a lot of them since I got this lady, so. Whew. I'm gonna try and keep my focus. I've been kind of dealing with a headache all day, so it's been, like, distracting, where it's the sort of thing, the type of headache, and I do get them fairly regularly, where it's like, it's just uncomfortable almost to focus on a specific thing, or a train of thought will get lost real easily, because headaches are super awesome and fun. Alright, so as I mentioned in my last stream, this barrel does not come with the model, but Hobby Lobby has a delightful range of little wooden barrels, and so that was added to her to help, you know, really bring it all up. So I'm going to start with something easy while my headache medicine kicks in, and paint some basing. Let's see. We're all here to be. No, you guys make me feel so much better in the week. Like, I can't even tell you how much of a highlight of my time this is. Anytime I get to have a live stream. And it's like, I want to offer you guys more variety. It's just like, by the time I get to this point in the week, I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm just stressed, and I'm dealing with all this other stuff, and then, you know, whiny life stuff, right? I'm like, oh man, I got this live stream. Like, what am I going to show everybody? And then you guys are like crazy forgiving of like how completely unprepared I am. So no, you guys are so elevated in my mind. I love this. Let's see here. Is this from Horde's War Machines? Technically Horde's, because that's just the way the model system works. Though, and I appreciate you jumping in and answering that question. She's a mini crate model though, so she kind of isn't technically part of the line for either of them, even though they can all work as proxy models within the game system. So, yes. Cool guys are gonna, oh my gosh. Whatever, Siobhan, you guys have fun with all of your very highly detailed models. Wednesdays are arguably harder than Mondays that way. It is. But, you know, you're halfway through the week and maybe you've got something you're looking forward to happening on the weekend for someone else. And then, like, it's not that bad. I mean, there's only a couple of days left if you do the traditional work week thing, and I think it's fine, but it's almost like a recentering time. And this, of late, has been my only chance to even, like, mess with hobbying, which has been, you know, kind of the thing to do since basically last year, when you weren't really getting in games just with individuals. You get to do the whole painting thing, and I have learned so much of the hobbying side. Alright, so this is burnt umber. So I'm tossing some burnt umber down into the undercoat. I know it looks a whole lot like that Blood Tracker brown, but I assure you it is a different color of brown. So I'm going to throw that there, and then I dry brush on the other brown to give a little variety. Now, this particular base was actually textured with some of that, like that just general texture stuff you get out of a bottle in, I think, the acrylic painting section of the hobby store. And so she looks like she's not necessarily running around on a gravel driveway like so many of my models. She has a little bit different texture going on. You could kind of imagine that being like the bottom sort of dirtish floor of an inn or a tavern or something, which I find pretty cute. Oh my gosh, Miranda is. Hi, Kenneth. Working away on Sturf. Lovely Star Wars port. It's Return of the Sixth in Australia. Well, I was told it was Return of the Sixth here too, and apparently there's disagreement. But we are talking about the Star Wars franchise, and nothing embodies it more than disagreement. So, I'm just going to go with it. That's why more people should show up to Valhalla to meet me, the coolest person. So, for the record, Siobhan is actually a very cool person, so in general I agree. But I can only handle so many people at Valhalla, so kind of have to take a number when it comes to meeting Siobhan. At least until the rest of the conventions open up, right? I also started painting my Lord of Skulls. Oh, I know. Oh, Paul, your progress pictures look so, so good. Oh my gosh, that Lord of Skulls is a ridiculously enormous model. I mean, I was intimidated for him, but he's got off to a great start. So many skulls painted. Doing good, enjoying school being over for the summer. Ooh, very nice. I don't think New Mexico kids are actually getting off for summer, in some cases, as late as June. One of my coworkers was telling me that his son won't be out until June, which was kind of messing up their family vacation plans. But, optimistically, should have decent-sized protectorate army for Valhalla this year. Well, in addition to the War Machine Hordes games that we'll be able to get. I am looking forward to hopefully having some Requiem games played. I've been chatting with some RPG people, trying to make sure that we've really got that like solid, and yeah, it's gonna be awesome. So bring your Protectorate pieces. I'm sure you would probably be somebody from Protectorate and Hellwar Budgies if you played in an IKRPG setting. Let's see. Why is the umber always burned? Why can't anybody cook umber properly? You know, I think I've asked that question before, and yeah, it does seem to be a bit of a problem. Like, undercooked umber just isn't as popular a picture color, and precisely cooked umber is probably just the wrong color. Thanks, MacDac. Have you ever had the courage to watch the Russian version of The Lord of the Rings? The 90s released into YouTube? No, I have not. Oh my gosh. So, I have a few problems with like stress management. Like, I'm terrible at it. And I've been trying to do better. Really like lean into exercise, because oh my gosh, that seems to be like the most effective thing so far. But I decided to start watching this show Ozark. And I made it through season 1 and I was like, I don't think I can handle this show. Like, what Jason Bateman goes through on that show is so beyond stressful. And, you know, some of the decisions are really intelligent and smart and you're really feeling for him, and some of them are like, I don't know what's wrong with you. But, you know, when you're all stressed out and, you know, you're not thinking clearly, maybe that's how it works. But yeah, that show was definitely like we were resonating stress, and then I was like up late thinking about his problems. It was, yeah. So, I'm back to like watching Little Griffey on YouTube dance to Michael Jackson and all of the amazing songs. I've always known it was Return of the Fifth. Well, thank you, Austin. I appreciate that. I showed up to the stream here and immediately there's a Star Wars roast. I've come to like, no, it's not a roast. We're just talking about the day. I don't even care about the other movies. Bjorn has been painting Necrons. I've been finishing some Riot Quest. Ooh, yeah. I still need to play that game. Literally the first time, Patty, might be against you. Jon Favreau for president of Disney. Perhaps. Yes, Paul's Lord of the Skulls looks so good. Yes, Travis, Requiem games for all. Mwah. Well, you might be. Are you still thinking of doing some more of those? I thought you mentioned on like Facebook or something doing that. Hey, Brian. I haven't been on in a while. Hope all is well. I'm hanging in there. Hope you're doing alright. Ah, yes. There it is. The excitement for Requiem. That's what I want to see. Maybe doing 3-week class in summer. 3 weeks isn't crazy. I resent this stereotyping and totally do not have a Protectorate model picked up for a Requiem character. You've got his name, he's named Job, and you've got all of this backstory about how he has lost all of his family and then he turned to Menoth to smite things, and now he has the ability to set things on fire if he concentrates on it for long enough. I'm sure you haven't thought of all that, right? I would play Flugwug the Fletcher. The Filcher? Nice. There's raw umber. It's sandy yellow. See, that's not helpful. That's the wrong color for this. Wow. GW, I have no freaking idea what my order is. Is Ozark some prison drama? No, it's... I mean, the closest thing I could compare it to is something like Breaking Bad. But it's like about this character played by Jason Bateman, who is this very analytically minded financial advisor / money launderer, and ends up getting stuck in a way he can't get out, and having to really like problem solve to make all of his, you know, crimes work out so he doesn't get killed, and it's just very stressful. This is really good. I mean, it's really well done. If you're talking show recommendations, I would highly recommend Shadow and Bone. I saw that one populate on there, and the visuals look interesting. I just haven't given it a go yet. Oh, Lauren. Ozark gets good, but I describe it as, you have to trust me on this, said each week by compulsive liars. That's fair. Riot Quest Kickstarter is over tomorrow. Pretty excited for some of the winter-themed alt sculpts. Hello, painting Star Wars Legion. Well, not me, but maybe you are, or someone else in the chat. I've got my little mini crate that I'm still working on from 2 weeks ago that was literally sat on this desk for a couple weeks as I played World of Warcraft and have otherwise had to do ooky business things. Although, World of Warcraft update, my character did get her Might of Menethil, and she's basically completely ready for PvP retirement. And as soon as TBC drops, they're going to split the server and let you copy your character, and it's totally getting copied. And then I'm just going to run around, like, saving little lobies in different zones from bad guys. That's how I want her to retire. Well, now I have to make a new character. He's your friend. You can just have multiples. You remember the gamers, that guy who kept getting killed and he just had his stack of characters? I've been naughty and bought some recasts. If they're not in stock for months, it's my only option. That was fair. Shadow and Bone was good. YATV. Is it an actual show or is it a movie? I'm just excited for Deathjack 2. Oh my gosh. I don't know how to feel about that. Travis just totally sent me down a whole other rabbit hole on, like, what is going on. And Deathjack and Karchev and, are you a Krix model? Are you a War Machine? Or are you a Khador model? Digressing. Have you looked at any part of the Warhammer Fest previews? I'm not. I'm very out of the loop. I apologize. Speaking of Riot Quests, I'm still not over them. Yes, I know. I know. War Budgets. Like, I come, like, randomly in my house over the last, well, I guess 2 weeks now. Like, it'll occur to me. It's just like, it keeps not sitting right. And I don't know that I'm, like, unhappy about it or anything. It just, like, it's oddly frustrating. The paint job is bonkers, yeah. Carjack. Oh my gosh, that's exactly what his nickname is going to be, isn't it? Oh, okay, TV series. Thank you. Need to get some more painting done for Valhalla, or Jeremy's going to shame me. It's been my painting. He's been a painting friend this week. Fiend this week. Oh, yeah. Jeremy can be a beast when it comes to getting stuff painted. He gives me grief, but you know. I'm just like, yeah, you're right, it's not painted. Anything else? Well, Austin, we'll have to talk at some point. Riot Quest timeline is just utter madness. Oh, goodness. Oh, goodness. I had to come out of the woodwork and make another warning video. Really? Oh my gosh. Have you put it out yet? I want to see it. Sorry, we were painting a model. I paint like glaciers move, so like faster than you look, but PP's new studio painter Eric Swinson is a fantastic artist. I do have a generally good run of those. I miss my friends at conventions. I know. Eventually we will be back there. Down. Alright. So, I'm going to just dry brush on some of this other brown. Trying to make sure it's an actual dry brush. And see if we can get that texture to show up. Yeah. It's a cool looking texture. I need to find the name of it. I don't know if it's around here somewhere. I know we've talked about the states of our wargaming houses I have way too many projects. Yeah. Okay, check that out. I love a good dry brush effect. So maybe you can see it here. But there's just a general brown color, but then the very tips, you should be able to see that breakup in the coloring to show that texture. And that's what you want right there. Well, that's what I want right there. I don't know. You guys do whatever you want. If you don't like stressful stuff, then Uncut Gems might be something to avoid from what I hear. I remember when that one came out in theaters, and I was going to the theater to see a different movie, and I saw that Uncut Gems was on there, and I was like, is that Adam Sandler? Like, what's going on? Because sometimes he'll do a serious role, and he's a really good serious actor when he goes and does those things. And I'm like, oh man, I need to add that to my list of stuff to do, and then just never got around to it. And so I do actually want to check it out. And it's not even like I don't like stressful things, but movies generally have like a story arc where you kind of have the stressful moment, and then there's that release of tension of some sort of resolution happening, maybe some type of justice happening or vindication or something, which is what makes a lot of those Marvel movies really fun, because there's that popcorn roller coaster kind of movie. But like something like Ozark, I don't feel like you get very much catharsis back for how much is going on. And then there's some characters who feel like they're kind of unreasonable, and so you're stressed that they are going to do something terrible. So there is definitely a give and take to that. But I mean, a lot of the best movies are going to have like a lot of stressful moments because that is part of that journey, right? Aw, thanks, Warp Budgies. I thought he was a studio guy. Is he not? Oh, contractor. Well, apparently he's quite good. I was happy with Kogan the Exile for Riot Quest. Oh, it's out. I watched the live stream when I showed it off and I had to do something. Dang it, I need to see that right after this. And I'm setting up a band for Stargrave with an old Saoirse, and the Kador Doggy, and other random GW minis. Saoirse's still one of like the coolest models. That and like the Widowmaker of the Widowmaker Scouts now, I guess, but the lead chick in there, like she's still just one of the coolest looking models in the line, even after all these years. I was wondering, is there a place to see that movie short video you were in? Funny, you should ask. So we just heard back from that. Erin had sent me a message. They're doing an actual virtual film festival on May 12th, so next Wednesday. And it starts when I'm still at work, which kind of sucks, but whatever. But yeah, I guess it's a virtual online thing, so my short should be out there. But I know after that, I should be able to just share it, because I think Aaron currently has it, and he's probably going to release it once that's over. And I believe the website is filmracing.com, like you're racing for film or whatever. And we were part of the 72-hour film festival, so we were one of the top 15 or something. So that's when that's going to officially air, and I don't know if they're just doing all of them end on end, or if they're going to just announce like the top 3 winners and then just release everything else to watch. I don't know enough about it yet. We just made it and kind of forgot about it, and then somehow got into the top 15 because, I don't know, maybe we're just better than we think. So yes, it's working. It's getting there. Hey, Allie. No, yeah, it's definitely a large consideration. Oh yeah, congratulations, by the way, Travis. I saw that you got that promotion, so that's awesome. Oh, yes, Kitty. Yeah. Oh, do you see her? Oh no, she's decided she's sitting on the chair behind me. Alrighty, so back to this. Barrels, last I checked, were brown, so I'm just going to paint that because these are nice, simple colors, and my headache medicine is still working. Still getting there. I'm terribly, terribly prone to stress headaches, and I just need to do better. But I'm one of those active people where, like, one of my friends was like, oh, you really need to take on, like, yoga. It's so good for stress management. And, like, literally my best stress management is punching something or running or somehow exhausting myself. That is the best stress relief that I've ever had. So I've been, like, running and jogging, and I haven't purchased a punching bag yet, but that might be the next consideration. So, oh, I just love that coverage. This is, if you were to get one color from the Privateer Press line of their P3 paints, it should be Blood Tracker Brown. It has the perfect luminosity, it has excellent coverage, it's such a perfect base for like reds and golds. Literally my favorite color in the line. Just look at that lovely coverage. I'm all like happy about it. But yes, actually we're gonna have some professional painters. The folks at Monument are gonna be at Valhalla this year, so there will be that painting stand again. And hopefully this year, like, well, I'm sure they'll bring stuff up, but I still have the gifts and things that they were gonna give to everybody last year that just got lost. So annoying. Before the event ended. But aside from that, they should still be good. So I was thinking of just bringing them this year if I don't do giveaways with them beforehand, which I might also do because I know they have a lot they were going to bring. Oh, look at all that lovely, lovely coverage. It was a good short movie. Thanks, Paul. Punching for stress relief. Very Cato of you. Dude, I've always been that way. I was always like that really aggressive kid. And even as a teenager, like, I took kickboxing, and that was how I, you know, because, you know, you do the angry teenager thing, and but I couldn't sulk. Like, I always had to just fight something. So, I don't know, maybe that geared my brain really well toward something like this hobby, but which is hilarious because the wargaming hobby is probably one of the most passive group of people I've ever met in my life. But yeah. Although I guess, to be fair, it's a little painting and chatting it up with you fine folks also serves as a good relief. Just kind of putting your brain in a different place for a while is extraordinarily helpful. Oh, Monument I missed last year. They went, yeah, and they didn't get to go this last year because they're literally moving their studio at the same, like in the same week. It's a really good color. That's right, Travis, you know what's up. Coffee and Excedrin work great. So I took the Excedrin, and I hate coffee. Like, I just can't. I feel like when I drink coffee, it never, like, the smell and permeation of coffee just doesn't leave my body. I just feel, like, saturated in it. So, it's like Earl Grey tea, and it's probably the extent of my caffeine anymore these days, actually. Even when I drink soda, it's largely caffeine-free. I think this root beer, yeah, caffeine-free. So, not exactly getting a lot of caffeine from that. I love their metallics and white. Also off-whites like Frostbite and Memory White. I have Mara White, which I think is what you meant to say. Maybe. I don't know. That's a really bright, bright Snow White. They have the Frostbite, and that is a really interesting color. When you want that cold blue hue, it's such a good, like, frosting color, obviously. And then that's also what I mixed with my Signar blue color to get her skin tone. Menoth white. Menoth white is a very interesting color. That would be this one right here, the Menoth white base. When you look at it, it's obviously not white. It's just this very antiqued, it's a very antiqued white. I mean, there's more yellow beige in it, and it works great. It's such a good like parchment color or like a sandy color. It reminds me a lot of the 50-cent off brand. One of those apple barrel colors was like a bleached sand that ended up having a really cool color like this, and this reminds me of that. It's just really, it's a good base. I agree. In fact, I used that on the Twilight Sisters because their underdress, I wanted something that looked almost like a muslin kind of fabric, which is essentially an unbleached fabric, and that is exactly what that looks like, which totally fits the Menoth theme because of course they would very likely use unbleached fabrics except for more ceremonial garb. So, works out perfectly. Must have been tough when your brother's getting punched by you for stress relief. Dude, we were the worst to each other. Like, I grew up thinking that everybody was, like, super harsh on each other. When I finally hit the adult world, I was like, oh, this is easy. Everyone's way nicer than my brothers and I were to each other. Because we ended up, so when I was growing up, like, I had one older brother and then two younger. My older brother and I were always very competitive, and I always wanted to do everything he did and hang out with all his friends, and, you know, he and his friends made games of abandoning me, because that was super cute, but whatever, I'm over it. And so we had this medicine ball, and so, like, for whatever reason, you know, your kids, you're roughhousing or whatever, we tossed this medicine ball at each other, so we all had, like, abs of steel for that. Punching, so definitely a lot of wrestling. Planning to bring Fallout. So, Warbudges, you got Flo totally into the Fallout game. Like, she bought completely into all the Zombicide stuff recently, which I think really leans into a lot of your Fallout models as well. But she's all in. She's been playing Fallout, so you had a convert. Viper Taha, I recently watched the Italian Demoni 1 and 2. Watched an 80s sharp-dressed guy repeatedly yelling, "Andiamo, let's go." Was hilarious, because we have a shoe brand named that. Really? Oh, that's awesome. Oh, let's go. I guess that's actually a pretty good shoe brand name. I'll be bringing Riot Quest as Patty, Trollkin, Warcaster, and hopefully the games I've been working on, if anyone is interested in testing them with me. Yes, you will definitely, folks, I'm sure, willing to come help test that. Menoth white looks like a parchment paper color. Exactly, Austin. I love their coal black. I don't have that one, but it's probably really good. I've got the Thamar black, and then like 3 different types of gray. Or 3 different types of brass, actually. I miss P3 paints. Are hard to get in my country. It's Allie. Going to get the Frank Horrigan mini soon. Great villain. So yeah. Anyway, one coat coverage, looking lovely there. Alright, so when I look at her, you know, just the example picture, I know I want to get some gray on her little calluses, whatever they'd be called, because they're very organic, you see. And that same gray color can be used for her little runekin apron. Oh, and there you go. There's that Menoth white dude. It's lovely work right there. Get you a nice close-up of progress check. It's 8:04, folks. Check her out. Ooh, and I get to paint her face. That's totally going to happen tonight. She looks great. Like, I would be her friend, you know? I would go lift iron with her. Good lord, she's buff. Painting my Lord of Skulls used up all my Flesh Terror red. Great contrast color. Unsure when I can get more these days. Can you not get it online, Paul? Or I know we do a lot of curbside pickup stuff here, so you can like order it into a game store and then they toss it at your car from the curb or something. Wow. I'm not seeing any of those movies. What was the one I was going to watch? So, I don't know if any of you guys watch Red Letter Media, but they recently did a like a review of a movie called Space Hunter, and just from the little bit they showed, like, I almost wanted to turn it off because it made me really want to see the movie. And it looks super dumb, but it's exactly the kind of movie that I just adore. Like, I love the original Star Trek series, and that just kind of cheesy sci-fi with crazy weird costumes, and I don't even know what's going on. So probably gonna watch Space Hunter at some point between now and then, and I feel like that won't be a stressful movie. Warburg's progress. Bases and blocking is done for the full squad, and washes are drying. Now, washes do take their time, so I know when I finally get a wash on a model, I'm probably done for the night. Austin, I like to start my minis with their faces. It allows me to be more messy and clean up around the face later. Really? Huh, that's usually definitely one of the later touches, but you probably have a more steady hand or something to prevent you from just accidentally squishing over it. I forgot her little, she's holding a barrel in her hand too. Maybe that should be brown as well. But she's cool because it looks like they've got, I mean, I don't know if I would necessarily do it, but she just has like these pure white eyes like Storm, and I kind of want to paint that. And it's not like as easy as it sounds, right? Because you've got to keep that even. You don't have any other element of the eye shape or an eyeball, or like the shaping I feel is tricky. But we'll see. Now, I did not clean my palette since the last time, so matching the color should be a touch easier. I'm just trying to match it on the model. I guess we'll see. I guess. I work from the lowest layer up for me. Yeah, so to Travis's point, I kind of started doing that too. It does work very well. And Jeremy was the one who told me about doing that. It's like, oh, okay, that does make sense, because then you're theoretically less likely to mess up something beneath it. Depending on how careful you are. And ooh, this paint is thicker than I'm used to, because all that lovely apple barrel is like, just tinted water, so you can really build up a lot of layers without losing detail. This Blood Tracker Brown's got a decent, because the coverage is so good, you kind of have to make sure not to make sure not to over coat it, or thin your paints, or whatever, I guess, if you're into that sort of thing. Trailbloods additionally have white irises, so like the whole eyeball looks white. Oh, there you go. Need to watch Mortal Kombat. I've heard super mixed reviews, but the Scorpion and Sub-Zero fights look awesome. I do plan to see Mortal Kombat. If I have the opportunity, I am going to watch King Kong vs. Godzilla first. But at this point, I'm willing to just see anything. Just to because I really miss theaters, desperately. It was a huge part of my life for years. So I'm looking forward to seeing a movie again. And the ones that are available right now is Mortal Kombat. And I feel like you'll probably enjoy it. I haven't seen it, but I feel like I will probably enjoy it knowing what you're getting into, because it's a Mortal Kombat movie. And for those of you who remember the games when they first came out, it really wasn't about the story. Now, in a 2-hour movie setting, there's got to be something. So I don't know if there's going to be enough to go on, but we'll see. Kano carried the whole movie. There you go. Started poking around Monster Apocalypse, which so far has been kind of hilarious. Nice. Kitty and I love Montauk. Would you take that to Valhalla? Hey Melinda, how you doing, love? Watch that. Watch them both. See, I'm so jealous of you right now. I saw Kong versus my son. We both liked it. Oh, good. It's it's nice when studios kind of hear the feedback from the audience and they're like, oh, everybody's really bummed they couldn't see the fights from the last movie, so let's make up for that. Which I assume is what happened here, but we'll see. Alright, getting some more brown on. Turn off your brain first. You can't turn off your brain watching a movie. It's not even possible. Now, I do feel like most people somehow manage to do that while driving, but that's a different subject. I'm trying to think, because there's a lot of like kind of dumb movies, right? And you can enjoy them just knowing what they are. You don't have to necessarily be like, well, if I refuse to pay too much attention, then this is how I'll enjoy it. Like, and that's where you get into that subjective thing when you are gauging and judging a movie on whether or not it did what it set out to do. I have no idea if Mortal Kombat did or not. But I'm sure elements of it certainly did. Alright. Get that big old wooden handle on there. This girl hasn't touched it. So do you think she's drinking this for herself or serving it to somebody at like a table somewhere? Or getting ready to throw it at somebody? I guess there's many options with this model. Go anyway. I mean, she's kind of smirking. There's a little bit of mirth there. I'm not sure. Do you trust this model to not toss this lagger at you? Godzilla vs. King Kong is a better watch than Mortal Kombat. Fair enough. Oh yeah, that's right. Well, either way. Let's see. There was a theater in Salt Lake that I love to take dates called Broovies. I see what they did there. It was supposed to be a bar theater, but pub food is amazing. We have one here too. It's Flick's Brew House. I've never been, because it's on the other side of town from me, but I know it was fairly popular. The whole dinner and a movie combined is honestly a pretty good idea. I'm surprised it didn't happen earlier. Hey there, little lady. Let's see. I actually went to see that anime movie, Demon Slayer, last night. Oh my gosh. I just can't get into anime. Just can't do it. But I'm happy for her. I remember going to tea with her and my friend Megan, Hello North. We went to a tea house here in town where they do like Jane Austen level like tea party stuff, because that is an incredibly girly aspect of me, as I love tea parties. So we went, and it was just the three of us, but it really ended up being kind of the two of them talking about anime, and me just sipping tea, because I was well out of whatever sphere. Like, any anime I watched was from the 90s. It's like, oh, well, I remember Akira. I was like, no, you guys are talking about a whole bunch of other stuff, and I was like, yeah, anime sucks anyway, because, you know, if I don't fit in, I'll just start a fight, I guess. I've been playing these games for years and still trash. Wife beats me on Miranda's channel for everyone to see even. Yeah, but Kitty's just good. And she's so adorable. Wait a second, Mortal Kombat wasn't a romance? Last movie I saw at the cinema was Joker. I think the last one I saw was Tenet, which ended up being terrible because the sound mix for that movie was, you just couldn't understand it. And it's already like a Christopher Nolan movie, and so it's kind of like, well, you really got to think about it to know what's going on and follow the story closely. But it doesn't really work if you can't hear the characters talking to each other. Demon Slayer series is great. Well, in lieu of turning off your brain, don't think too critically about it. That's also hard, because one of the things I love more than watching movies is talking about movies. Just like in the game of War Machine, one of the things I loved more than playing the game was talking about the game. It's one of the biggest strengths to the War Room app, was just being able to hang out at dinner with your friends and, you know, talk about these different models and talk about these different lists and really, like, elaborate and expand on it. But, as we all know, especially for those of you who've played GW games, a lot of models that are like dumb models. But you're like, screw it, I'll play with this anyway because it's fun. I do think that should be able to apply to movies. Especially because you're like, I don't know, this is an art form. I mean, there's something going on here. Millions and millions of dollars went in to justify this. Like, hopefully it wasn't just a throwaway thing. So that becomes really hard for me. I know what you're saying, and I'm not trying to undermine that at all. It's just the way I look at it. Even for, because I love me some schlock too. But even then, like, I'll defend The Room by Tommy Wiseau as genuine art because that guy really put himself out there, even though the execution of it was terrible. But it's an interesting movie when you look at it that way. So if you just look at it and you're not just making fun of it or heckling it, then it's a boring movie. So, you know, there's layers. There's layers to these things. Deep Rising and Street Fighter are my favorite 90s dumb movies. Oh, I think Demolition Man might be one of my new favorites. I also grew up loving Total Recall for some reason. Just couldn't get enough of that. She's both drinking it and serving it. She's a fun gal. Well, she's certainly well stocked, isn't she? She's serving the Stone Scribes. She's an excellent take for Borka in A Storm of the North list. With the hooch holler, of course. Oh my gosh, yes. So many alcoholic themes in the Trollkin world. I guess somewhat in the Kadoran world too, but I don't really play them that way. Kim and the gang are coming up to Denver. Jealous. Well, you guys have fun. Street Fighter was really good. Wonderful 90s cheese. Hey Christian, welcome. We're just chatting about movies because that's what I do. She's getting rid of stress by throwing beer barrels. Holy crap, is that an option? I wonder how long I could get away with that before I had the police called on me. I've always wanted to try Flick's Brew House next visit. Sure, I'm down. If we don't do tea. What's the reason for not getting into it? The actual drawing, stories? Oh, for anime? You know, it just became too flooded a market, because there's a lot of really good animes in there. Like, I liked Akira, and it's a weird movie, and I liked Evangelion, and I liked Lane, but after a while, I liked Cardcaptor Sakura. But, you know, there were just so many. I kind of felt that way about video games, to be honest. It's like, oh, here's this thing, and oh, these are really fun. And now here's 1,000 others. And some of them are pretty cool, and some of them are more derivative, or, you know, you start really having to sift and sort through them. And I think I just decided I didn't really have the time for it. Like, the artwork and stuff, because there's a few different styles. You know, when you look at the Studio Ghibli films, like Nausicaa, Valley of the Wind is amazing and beautifully drawn. Princess Mononoke is a fantastic movie, and beautifully done. So it's not without exceptions. I'm not like an anime fan. Like, there's not anything about that medium that I'm specifically drawn to. So it's just whatever some of the best stuff out of there that elevates above maybe the rest of it, I'll end up maybe seeing. But beyond that, it's like, it's fine. Like, there's other stuff to watch. So I guess that's probably a more fair assessment of it. I say anime sucks to, like, annoy my friends. Because, I don't know, because I'm petty like that. Now you've made her blush. Like, that takes any effort. Last thing I saw in theaters was Endgame. Wow, that was fitting, wasn't it? The pitch meeting of 10 is amazing. Yes, it is. I love the chat periods after games or late night conventions. So much fun. I know, exactly. Like, those are the moments that I think are really where a game even stays alive and grows, because the excitement of talking about it, the new information, the rapid exchange of information when you're talking to different people, because it's a much easier thing to discuss a game, assuming people are familiar with it, than to necessarily go have a game with somebody, because that's a 1 to 2 plus hour session every single go. And having participated in tournaments, it can also be really exhausting, especially in a timed format where every bit of conversation is just, I'm doing this move, I'm doing this move, I'm doing this move, this person goes here, this is what I'm rolling, this is the tough check on this, and time. Because 10 hours of that is kind of awful. Whereas afterward, you're like, well, this is kind of what I was thinking about this list. I really like this part of this character. And you get to explore the lore almost in a way. And I know it's not necessarily that, because for a lot of people they'll talk about the game mechanics, but you're still talking about that world, and that's good enough in a lot of ways. So yeah, like post-game chats, yes. Those are some of the most amazing moments for me anytime I have a game. It's like, yeah, let's have the game get out of the way so we can just talk about it. Or talk about this new model that's coming out. Or talk about, I don't know, talk about somebody else's game that happened. Which is funny, because, like, because I never thought I'd be, like, excited whenever I hear people talk about, like, oh, the football game or whatever draft happened. I'm like, I don't care. But it's like, when it's something you know, suddenly you're interested in it. I did not. I know, Paul. Bless his heart. Neil Breen is my new man for those types of movies, though, because, wow. Wow. Demolition Man is quite underrated. I know. It's kind of a brilliant movie. Like, in a very of-our-time way. Speaking my language, I know, it's so good. But I love movies like that. I'm totally into it. Total Recall was... Thank you, everyone. I agree. Total Recall was... Now, it definitely appealed to, like, the 10-year-old me. I haven't watched it in a long time. Also, Total Recall, the one with Arnie. Less so the later remake. Yeah, I didn't... Apparently, I saw the remake, and I don't even remember it. Now, admittedly, I kind of forget movies regularly. But... it was kind of shocking, because I'll watch a preview for it, and I'm like, did I see this movie? And you know, I mean, that's really bad, right? Like, a movie it can be good and bad, but forgettable is the worst of the things to be. So, did I tell you I have a DVD in where the last standing restaurant is a Pizza Hut instead of Taco Bell? Yes, that was talked about, because there was, what was the story behind that? We did talk about it. Was it just like a sponsor thing? But yeah, there's a different one. Running Man. That's a movie. Surely the most Arnie one-liners in a movie. Yeah. Although Predator's really kind of amazing too. Paul Verhoeven did a great job with Total Recall. Yeah, and Starship Troopers. Who says we can't do flicks and tea? It's so much food, Melinda. We have to break it up. Plus, it's like $40 to go to tea, and then like $40 to go to Flick's Brewhouse. Do I look like I'm made of money to you? Here's the Sub-Zero. Now, plain zero. Let's see. About the only anime I can't seem to break away from is Mobile Suit Gundam. Okay. I'm sure there are some other great ones out there, but geez, that one keeps pulling me back. So, I've seen Robotech, and... There was an anime series, and I don't really remember it anymore, but when my brothers and I were all into it, we were collecting all these different series at the time. For those of you who remember Suncoast Video, and that would be where you went and got anime, but we watched, like, Bubblegum Crisis was one of them, and I mentioned I got into Lane. That was one I found. And there was the Cardcaptor Sakura. What was the other one? There was kind of a... I mean, yeah, I guess I watched some Pokemon. I was probably way too old for that, but whatever. Gundam. What's the other one I'm thinking of? It's one of the no, it was other than Evangelion, because Gundam suits and Evangelion suits were super, super different, and I really liked the Evangelion ones at the time, but going to get that package. Oh geez, Mag Attack, really? Oh, I'm so sorry. Don't worry about it. There's no rush at all, of course. Been watching it for 21 years. Wow. I don't think I've rewatched an anime in a long time. I don't know if I rewatched Evangelion now if I'd like it. Yeah, Paul's right on the line with tongue-in-cheek digs of society and pop culture. There's RoboCop when you think on it. I loved RoboCop. That was great. You really have to find your niche with gaming. If you try to play everything, you'll never have the money to do anything else. Well, in Steam and, like Humble Bundle, make it really easy to kind of flood your library with games, especially stuff that you never play. And so, yeah, I was leaning, like, into RTSs, but then for my birthday, my brother got me Ori something out of Blind Forest or something. Super cute. Totally reminds me of Hollow Knight. Just very, very charming. So I've been playing that, but one of the things I really like are movies that are games that have kind of a short gameplay time where they're like 8 hours and you've pretty much done everything. Like, okay, I can break that up and enjoy that over a few weekends and then finish it, because it is nice to finish games. But, yeah. The gloating after game, that's what it's all about. Wow. Mm-hmm. I hear you, Mac Attack. I'm finishing the sale of my mother's house on Monday, so I've been kind of mentally preparing for that, because I'm pretty sure I will break down after it's all done. But you do what you gotta do, right? Still to this day, I'm traumatized when Emil gets hit by a car near the end of RoboCop. Right? About time for Budgie Crash. Great catching up with you guys. Show you a link to that video. Yes, please. Oh my gosh, that's amazing. The 80s, 90s sure was a great time for movies. So many classics. She was 94 and lived her life on her terms until she was 90. Well, that's good. Actually, that's amazing. Thinking about the fact that I've seen some of these in the actual theaters, making me feel aged. Yeah, this is just how it goes, man. Robot Jocks is streaming on Prime now for those BattleTech fans. What was the Rock'em Sock'em movie they made with Hugh Jackman? That ended up being kind of good. Like, I mean, I think so, but I'm a huge sucker for the sports movies where, you know, there's the underdog team and they have to overcome. There's a really great movie called, I think, Spare Parts. That was one of those too. And, you know, Kevin Costner kind of, I trust, like, whenever he's in a movie about that stuff, I'm like, okay, I'm gonna like this. So those are those feel-good ones where you just want to have something nice. So, but the Rock'em Sock'em movie was actually kind of great. Never too old for Pokemon. Pokemon is timeless. We don't get older, we evolve. Whatever, those Pokemon evolve and can fly and shoot fire and do magic. That hasn't happened to me yet. Too old for Pokemon. I still play Pokemon Go passionately. Alright, fair enough. We are in a strange age where we kind of never have to get away from the video games and the things we love, huh? Like, it doesn't interfere enough with the day-to-day lives. Although, I don't know. Maybe it does. I do feel like I don't have time for a lot of that stuff. Like, video games definitely fallen by the wayside. Like, Warcraft is getting to a point in my schedule where I'm like, I don't know how much I can keep this going. So, not great if you have a lot of hobbies. But certainly not, like, something you need to get rid of. Mini wargaming, holy moly. I absolutely love that. My first anime was Speed Racer. Now, you know what was an underrated live-action movie? Speed Racer. Yes, it was very long. But to hear John Goodman say more like a Nanja was the best. And I love him in that movie. Speed Racer was surprisingly good. I also feel that way about John Carter, the live action of that. Like, both of those were quite good. I don't know why they flopped so bad. But yeah, Speed Racer is pretty interesting. Who are you thinking of? Pat Labor. My main one was Guyver. Oh, David Hayter. I had such a crush on him from the Metal Gear Solid days. Go, Speed Racer, go! Okay, so yes, there are some good animes, and I don't actually hate anime. I'm just, maybe just an old curmudgeon about it, and it's like, back in my day, I knew of the 20 anime that anybody ever actually watched, and now there's like 1,000, and it's just overwhelming. Let's see, yeah, the 21 years thing is easy to do, and it's been going strong since 1979. apparently, was it Harmony Gold? Came to a settlement with the company in Japan over the Robotech rights, so there's possibility of new Robotech series coming out. For those of you following that news. Last Action Hero was another underrated classic. Real Steel, thank you. Thank you, Patty. Kids. Hey, Red Green. Ah, good times. It's based on the classic Twilight Zone episode. What? I loved Waterworld. I don't care. That movie's great. I've never seen it to this day. I do magic. Well, you and I need to have a conversation then. Real Steel is awesome. Wolverine fighting as a robot. So you guys know things. Alright, have a great night, Mac Attack. Take care. Get some rest. The thing with classics was they were one of the few things coming out that year. Now it's one of hundreds and TV streaming. You know, you're right. It definitely is a lot of that choice saturation, whatever it is. So, oh, you did the super chat. Oh, thanks, Blaine. Thanks for sharing your time and positivity with us. Oh, thanks, Blaine. I appreciate that. Best wishes for continued success in all that you do. I'm gonna need it. I got big plans this year, so. And best Jeff Goldblum. Now, there's going to be some painting on this paint chat. This was not brown at the beginning, and this was not brown at the beginning, and this was not brown at the beginning, and this was not brown. So I'm going to say that painting has actually happened, but yes, I can totally get back to it. But you got me talking about movies, and I just love them so much. I love John Carter. Yes, I loved it too. It was so good. Kitty's favorite is Earth Girls Are Easy. Dude, it's been a minute since I saw that one. I would have to rewatch it. I'm curious. I'm glad I'm not the only one to like John Carter. It was charming. I mean, and Taylor Kitsch, it's fun to watch, I'm not gonna lie. But just the movie in general was great. I am certainly no Jeff Goldblum. Anybody ever hear Alpha Team Speed? It's a dance music group that samples Speed Racer. I have not. Interesting. Speed Racer just finished the TV shows Jetsons on OBO Max. Nice. Harmony Gold settled with Catalyst in the last couple of years, which was big news for me as a Battletech nerd. Yeah. Nice, nice. The Butcher is still a jerk. Yes. Hate TV streaming. I mean, it's just the new market. Like, one that must move on and embrace it, I think. But, yeah. I like to see the funny things happen. I like John Carter too. Yes, Melinda, I know we've had that conversation. There are a lot of good movies out there that end up being underrated, and it's hard to tell why. So much of a movie's success is going to rely on its marketing and kind of the timing. Because some movies that come out are, you can tell they really were quite good based on the aftermarket. And streaming has kind of changed that market a bit, I guess, because just because a movie flops in the theater doesn't mean that it's not going to do well on video on demand or, I guess, home video. Because home video is still a huge market. Like, there's still more DVDs and physical copies of stuff being sold than streamed. Where's that? Okay, I'm going to put brown there then. But in the streaming market, it's really hard because, yeah, there's target saturation and, it's not a matter of, finding an audience, because your movie, whatever it is, probably has an audience. It's just a matter of being able to find it at all. Like, does anybody know about your movie? Or History of the World Part 1. Oh, man. It's been a long time since I saw that, too. Mal Brooks. He was is a curious fellow. Although he claimed that there would be another Spaceballs movie, and that hasn't happened. I think he was just saying it. So we're just going to add this little dressy dress in. And probably touch up my Minoth white because I am being a little sloppy here. But this is an example of painting from the lowest level up. So the underdress part would get painted first, because if you are sloppy and paint the bits above it, then it's not a big deal because it's getting painted over anyway. But I'm still going to have to go in and do a little bit of cleanup because, one, my brush has a ridiculous amount of cat hair on it. And so it's distracting, causing me to be extra sloppy. Ooh. There we go. I always have trouble with the, you know, like the overhang on a model. So, like, the skirt isn't just 2D, right? It has a lip on the skirt below it. So to cover that up, I end up making a bit of a mess, as you can see here. Just show off my lovely mess. Don't go looking up her skirt. Don't be a gentleman, but just see the apron part. And so you get this like jagged edge from where it's gone over. So then I'll smooth that out with the actual Minoth white. But yeah, that's looking good. That's perfect gray for it for sure. Yes, DVDs save us. Treasure Planet flopped in the theaters because it was pitted against Harry Potter. Ah, there is also that timing thing. I saw John Carter, Warlord of Mars as a pre-release at the Disney Theater and loved it. It was very comic bookish. Warlord of Mars. So I knew him as John Carter on Mars, I think, right? Is that a different movie? We're not talking about the same one. Cat hair. Where could that come from? Oh man, my cat sheds like no other. Even all winter she shed like crazy. This kitty cat. She's a nut. And it's funny because she's getting old too. She always reminds me of like, so if you're familiar with that sort of suburban kid who thinks he's a little gangster, in this case she's a little gangster, where they put on this like tough act, but you know, she's never gone hungry. She's never actually had hardship. So she always reminds me of that. Oh, look at this amazing thing I forgot. This is why you gotta look at your models multiple times to remember that not only is there a front of a barrel, but there's a back of one too. Go me. Let's see the fuzzy. The cat ran off, so I'm not gonna go look for her. She's fine. Any Big Trouble in Little China fans out there? I had fun painting the minis for the board game. Oh, wait, that was a board game, huh? So, I'm a fan of Kurt Russell in general. I mean, The Thing, is that a miniature game yet? And then, yes, Big Trouble in Little China was very charming. I mean, he's the original Snake Plissken. And I love that link to Metal Gear Solid. See, I used to follow all that stuff. Watching IG, or reading IGN news and all of that. It's like anymore, keeping up with video games feels like it's just keeping up with stuff on Steam, or I guess IGN still makes content. I can't tell you the last time I've checked on it. In fact, the last time I even really was in the video game world was when I went to PAX in 2012. Makes me sad. But whatever, wargaming community's kind of cooler anyway right now. I feel like it's easier to keep up with what's going on there. Even though like the news isn't necessarily as easily accessible. But there's a lot of great channels for finding out what's going on. And all the game companies have like Twitter accounts and stuff too, so they can tell you what's going on. Although, you know, one of the video games I have very much enjoyed, as I've mentioned many times before, Vermintide. I love Fat Shark. They're such a great, like, I guess just a great company. They've been very, very nice every time I've interacted with them, and their game is so fun. Oh my gosh, I love Vermintide. Like, I would love to see an Iron Kingdom's world headed up by them. Just a fast, oh, well, guess who's back? Just like a fast, fun game where you get to just indulge in the world, and it's just so perfect. Hey, come here. There you go. You want to see my painting progress? Aren't you proud of me? Oh yeah, that's right, you're a cat. You're incapable of being proud of anything. Except yourself. IGN's iffy. See that, then look elsewhere. Really? Yeah, that's me. Back of barrels are a myth. Thank you. Oh, Dummy Me, Warlord of Mars. This is a comic series. Oh, okay. You like Kurt Russell? Ever seen Soldier? Actually, I don't think I have. This is the new Captain America, Kurt Russell's son. What is happening? Really? Oh, that's unfortunate. I know, like Clint Eastwood's son is pretty good. But I don't think he's in any of the Marvel stuff. YouTube doesn't like you anymore, Miranda. I had to use my gray matter to remember you were alive. Oh. I'm sorry. Well, so I originally, and Paul pointed this out, he was like, why are you scheduled for the 12th? He said it nicer than that, but, you know, it's time repeating it. And I guess I just miscalculated the weeks, because, you know, I'm, on the one hand, trying to be ahead on the schedule, and then immediately biff it, because I'm just not focusing enough on it. So it was supposed to be today, and so I ended up changing it yesterday, and I don't know if YouTube's algorithm didn't have enough time to put out any reminders. Here you go. There you go, Brett. See? Say hi. Just be uncomfortable in front of everybody like that. She's purring despite the sullen face. She gets enough food. Let's see, to paint one. Alright, there you go. And then you always have to shake your hands and get all the fur off. Gee, where's all this fur coming from again? Alright, back of barrel. Problem solved. So we still have to complete the dress. Let's get a little bit more gray on her, and I've only got I've been chatting a lot, so I need to get her face on before the end of this stream. And then I have to figure out what color to make all her fuzzies, because I don't usually have to paint that. Fluffy, yes, fluffy and sheds like crazy. My little brat. Actually, she turns, she's born in 2007, 14? She'll be 14 this year. So she's getting old. So the nice thing about these little nubs is they're, you know, raised bits on the model. So super easy to paint. Good old Trollkin. They are cool. And they've got their little like chibi hands. Awesome. Got an email to remind me you're alive, but only hasn't happened. Interesting. Java, yes, this is technically live. Do you have eternal bad luck because of how often your cat crosses your path? Well, I can confirm that I'm reasonably certain the bad luck that has come my way is not related to my cat. I had bad luck before then. And I like black cats. Had many of them in my life. So, that was going to be the reason for my bad luck, then so be it. But although, fun fact, when you do have a black cat and you live in a state of weirdos like New Mexico, probably most places, right? And Halloween comes around, you're supposed to hide her away because there are psychopaths out there that might steal your cat. She's been fine. I don't think anybody actually wants her, but she's, that is a risk here in New Mexico. She was purring because her secret plan to cover the world with tiny hairs is working. Yeah, American short hairs are really good at getting that fine fur into everything. I mean, you can kind of see it on here. I'm not super familiar with the Iron Kingdom's lore. Are the bumps warts or some physical feature of the Trollkin? So the Trollkin are kind of part stone. Because they're Trollkin, which are a derivative race off of trolls, and trolls are like part of the mountain. And so they are sort of living rocks in a lot of ways, and then the organic Trollkin portion off of them are more organic. But I believe it's a throwback to still like their stony heritage. Yeah, our stony like growths. They are creatures of the goddess Dunia, and are generally, I believe, reincarnated race. Juniper is entering Pisces soon, which is good for us all. Oh, good. I'm glad that's happening. Hopefully before Monday. Alright, now to approach her face. So, I've got my teeny tiny brush, my little Monument X10. Look at that teeny tiny little thing. Can it even focus? Doesn't even know where it is. That is how I'm going to paint her eyeballs. Yeah, that's right. Shelters do not let you adopt cats during Halloween too, which is good. Thank goodness that somebody has some sense to do that sort of stuff. Oh, nice, Andrew. Well, enjoy life. Let's see. Alright. So the trick is always keeping it even. So I figure if I get the white of her eyes in, do I really have, I mean, she has eyebrows in this, in the sculpt, but not in the picture. So I'm going to have to figure out how I approach that. But because there actually are sculpted eyebrows in her face, let me see if I can get close enough to show you her face. Maybe, yes, I love this new camera. So you can kind of see there, it's sort of working, that she has ridges on her eyebrows. So I'm going to use that as the guide for shaping this, because again, there's a lot relying, if it's the only thing you're going to see, you don't have anything else to focus on. I'm going to start with a slit. And you can kind of clean it up by taking that skin tone back over, but I'm going to have to remix it, so it's not as easy to do as all that. This is not looking the way I want. So, not as even as I had hoped. One side definitely whiter than the others. A tiny brush, yes. Use an itsy bitsy teeny weeny yellow polka dot brush. Doesn't quite roll off the tongue the same way, does it? So, let's see here. It's wider on the left than on the right, and I think I'm going to even it out by making it a little bit bigger on the right, and I'm going to redo the blue color to shape it in. Do you all hold your breath when you're painting something really tight too? Fur. Alright, so drinking troll will work for beer. Alright, so I'm liking that shape here on the left one. goodness. And I feel like I kind of need to shape it out a little bit wider on the right because, so you remember the character Venom and his white eyes, and there's that very distinct shape, that comic book eye shape. I feel like I have that going on this, on the right, her right eye, right? Like this kind of cool alien look. I dig it. But on this side, it's smaller. And I don't think I'm getting quite the same effect. So I'm going to widen that out a bit. And then I can, again, shape it in a little bit more. But I figure let's start off a little bit bigger because that is going to be kind of one of her biggest features. And I don't want the eyes to look too small. Doo-doo. So her hair is going to be sort of this like fiery orange color. Should I give her eyebrows and make them that color as well? Or just leave the shape to do it for me? How are we feeling about going back to tournaments? Being pressured to go. Well, I'm against pressuring of any sort, so yes, that is always your own comfort zone. Now the downside to using teeny bitty bits of paint on teeny little bitty brushes is it can dry on there and create this little lump. Very much a nuisance to try and get off. You've got to get it off, otherwise you won't be able to continue painting the model because then you'll have this lump you're dealing with. Alright, I mean it's not done. But I'm going to have to call the eyes done for now because I'm going to need the blue again to really shape that back in. Let's adjust the hair before we go. How did you survive painting? Oh. Gosh, Samuel, so literal. So I've got these lovely colors here. We've got the Cadoran red highlight, which I will use as the base. And then I'm going to dry brush over this ember orange to give that nice fiery look. She seems like a feisty lady. So we're gonna give her a little pop of color, because so far we've got a lot of muted tones here with the exception of the blue, but even that's more muted a tone than what this orange is going to be. And Cadoran highlight is basically orange. It's like construction orange. So, there we go. Oh wow, there's cat hair in the water. This is why she's not allowed in the painting stuff. Alright, so not a whole lot of hair and even those are actually growths. They're like spiny, I think. She's got her cool alternative girl look going on. Peer pressure is the least kind of pressure. Trust me, I've seen enough videos of gas cylinders going off. Yes. You say that. Peer pressure. So yes, I agree with you from a physical sense. But man, people have done some awful things over peer pressure. So, just depends. Also depends on how susceptible you are to that sort of thing, like how much it really bothers you or impacts you. And I do wonder if, having been the product of someone homeschooled, I was just, like, I really never gave in to peer pressure. I was around all kinds of people who were like, you know, tried to get you to try things. And it's like, nah, I don't need to. It's okay. You have fun. So it's just not like a world I'm familiar with, but then you read history and you're like, oh my gosh, this is dangerous AF. Oh, excellent, Christopher. Embrace it, good sir. Wow, check out that. There is a shock of hair right there. Now, admittedly, it's blending in a little bit with my skin, and it also has no, I guess, texture, because there's no dry brush on it yet. See if I can get you a better. Put it against the color of this coaster. There you go. Come on, focus, you little bugger. I like it. I think it's the correct color. I think so, yes. And then I am in the very arid desert where things dry almost as soon as you put it on the model, so I can go right to the dry brush. So, since I gently joked about the painting, only for a second time, I gathered my mobile paint station and joined in and just finished up my Hell Blasters. Well, you're like, I just did this and got it done. Excellent, Christian. Alright, so I've gotten some progress here. And it's good. It's good to get the actual progress in there. Like, as much as I love talking about games and list building and all of that, like, you always need the background of having actually played games at some point to talk about it, so that's kind of what happens here too. You still gotta make that donuts. Might be too much, but I'll re-dry brush it whenever the wash goes on. Alright, well, almost all of the base coats are on. I didn't get to her fluffy alcoholic beverage, but ta-da! That is the progress of tonight. And you know what? She's tabletop worthy, reasonably so. She could be possibly throwing that keg or pint, or, I mean, honestly, it looks like she's holding gallon size thingy, but in an IKRPG setting, she looks like she could be giving you important information about some back alley deals happening around the corner from the pub that, you know, the Kayazi are involved in. She's totally got story going on here. Green stuff, more hair. No, she's got the appropriate amount of hair. No worries about that. Just maybe Miranda will call you literal. Alright, cat's whining again, so I'll get back to it. Thank you guys, as always, mind the fur, for the wonderful, relaxing, engaging chat. I always love our movie talk, especially. But, you know, I'm gonna get up more on the gaming news next time I actually talk about it, because there are some things going on that are worth mentioning. So, yeah. On that lovely note, you lovelies have a great week. Happy painting, hobbying, relaxing, whatever you need to do. Try to keep those stress levels down, because a bit of a challenge lately. So, you take care. We'll see you next time.